شكرا يا ربي شكرا هديت قلبي شكرا نورت دربي شكرا.
Chairman for the Bedfordshire branch of Heart Start delivering these courses. Also accompanying me today is Helen Parker and Graham Ward. Wealth of experience between us all. In a conjunction with British Heart Foundation, we also work with the Royal Lifesaving Society, so training up lifeguards, delivering life-saving to youngsters as well, which incorporates the first aid, and that's what we're going to start to go through today. Just giving you a very basic outline for what to do if you found someone that was unconscious, or if someone collapses in front of you, what to do so that you don't become a second casualty. If you've got any questions, please ask them as we go. Alright, there's no need to put your hand out, just call out and I can answer them for you. Okay, just to let you know, if you're not aware, we have got the camera running, so it will be filming anyone that's working down this end later. Okay, so what we're going to cover today, as you can see, emergency life support. We're going to learn how to deal with resuscitation, which is with the resuscitation as they call it, the recovery position, which I'll do right at the end. There's choking, there's major bleeding, and the recognition of a heart attack. Okay, and then if there's anything else you want to do at the end, right, any questions, scenarios that you might have come across or you think you might come across, what should you do, we'll hopefully be able to answer. If not, I can come back to your organiser and give them the answer, but I'm hoping we should be able to answer today. So, we'll start first of all, resuscitation. So, I've got this person here, okay, they've collapsed. Unfortunately, they've landed on their back, so that's fine. What's the first thing do you think I'm going to have to do? Do I just run in straight away and deal with them?
Call the emergency.
Before you call the emergency, because if we call the emergency, what can I tell them about the situation? If anyone wants to grab a chair, come in by all means. There's a few just sort of coming in.
Check the area safe maybe?
Yeah, well you're almost there. Checking the area safe is part of it. Where else do we need to check?
Make sure they're breathing.
Well, before that, so if I come to this door and suddenly found that person collapsed, right, I am going to look for a thing called dangers. So we're going to look for the dangers. Any idea where the dangers could be?
If it's on a road or if he's collapsed.
Well, we'll take it, it's this room, shall we, to make it nice and easier for the younger ones that are there over in the background now. So we'll take it that we've come to this room and we're looking for the dangers.
With the things next to them.
Yeah, so we look for the route to the person. How am I going to get to them? Is there any obstacles? As you said, around them. I don't want to be kneeling down and find out there's broken bottles there because I'm going to injure my knee. Okay. I'm also going to be looking above, because what I don't want to do is come there and one of these planks suddenly hits me on the head. Again, I can become the second casualty. And the other one is just be careful of the room, especially if you've got gas fitted in. Alright, garages is prone if someone's decided to take their own life, unfortunately, and we could end up with the carbon monoxide situation. So if you're opening garage doors, smell. So basically as you come in, I always say go from top, check, make sure that it's going to hit you, look at your route, area around, and a quick smell. Are we safe? So I know I'm safe now, I can come over, I'm on the head on the beams as I come in. Okay, so just kneel down by the side of the person. Okay, I'm going to move on now to a thing called response, so R for response. Right, and all I'm going to do is just tap them on the shoulders. Hello, can you hear me? Okay. What we're trying to do is see if there's any response, because they could be asleep and we're not aware of it. And the last thing we want to do is now start to put breaths in or start doing chest compressions and someone suddenly wakes up wondering what's going on. Okay? Could be very embarrassing if it's someone of the opposite sex that we're doing it to. So I've got dangers and I've got my response. I've got no response whatsoever. Okay. So what I now need to do is see if I can get some attention from somewhere. So I'll shout for help. Help! I'm not going to do it in case I end up with a load of people looking down. I did this at a doctor's surgery one day, forgot where I was, shouted help, and I ended up with 3 doctors rushing in thinking there was a problem. Okay, but it proves it works. Okay, so we've now got shout for help, so DRS. Okay, when you feel not very well, who do you go and see? The young man in the blue top.
You go to the doctor.
You go to the doctor, or the group of doctors, isn't it? And the abbreviation for doctors?
DR.
DR.
Yes.
S. Danger, response, shout.
So
Okay.
just as a reminder, DRS.
Okay? Danger, response, shout. Right, helps every time. Okay. So we're going to move on now. What I now need to do is find out what the situation is with this person. So I'm going to check their airway. Because predominantly, the airway is the problem. Okay. Any idea what one of the major factors of blocking the airway could be?
The tongue.
The tongue. Yeah. So, if you look at the white bit there, the tongue, so it's coming in and it's blocked. And just by tilting the head back, okay, as you can see, it's now opened it. For those of you that are there, that's it shut with the tongue blocking, no air in. Just tilting the head back, opens up the airway, and we can have the air coming in. You want that for your camera again? Have we got it?
Yeah.
So we've got blockage, tilt the head back, now comes open, air goes in. Thanks very much. Okay, so what I'm going to do is gently, just 2 fingers on the chin, one on the top there, just open the mouth. Please do not look over like that and do it. Any ideas why?
In case they stop vomiting.
If they vomit or there's blood, because if it comes out into your eyes and it blinds you, even if it is only for sort of a minute, it's 1 minute you've wasted trying to help this person. So just be careful. You step back, open it. If it's clear, we can gently tilt the head back and then we can have a look in and see. Please do not put your fingers in. Okay? The amount of people that go in and they think, hang on, it's false teeth, I'll get them out. If they're loose, just gently support the head, tilt the head back, okay? And if you can, just scoop them out, but please don't put your fingers in, okay? Very important if you're doing this with a baby, because if a baby's just got its teeth in there starting to grow up and it bites, I've actually seen someone almost lose their finger, actually. It was left on by thread, just because they put their finger in and the baby shut it. And it was just like a clamp, it just went through the finger. Okay, so I've got my A for the airway. I've opened the mouth, checked it, I've tilted the head back. Okay, I'm now going to look for signs of breathing. B for breathing. And this is look. I'm looking for the chest movement going up and down. Listen, can I hear breathing? And feel, can I feel it? Okay? Look, listen and feel for about 10 seconds. Okay? Now, if you want to do this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's about 10 seconds. If you're out in a real situation and do that, those people that don't know anything will think you are a professional. Right? They'll see you doing something and they'll think, hang on, we've got a real professional here, and they'll react to whatever you say. So you've looked, listen and feel. If you've got breathing at that point, we can put them into the recovery position, which we will cover later on at the end. If they're not breathing, which we're going to carry on and do, so they're not breathing, I've got no signs of chest movement, can't feel, okay, and I can't hear anything, okay, what I'm going to have to do is phone for an ambulance. Any idea what the phone number is for an ambulance?
999
999. Is there any other number that you could use?
111.
112. Okay. Both of these are free of charge. They don't cost you. And we all use mobiles these days, don't we?
Yep.
How many of you use your phone with a lock on it? So you need to put in your PIN number to get your phone open, yes? Getting a few nods now. Okay. You don't even need that. Alright, so if your phone is locked, you can go 999 or 112, press the green button, and it'll dial the number for you. Please don't try it. I don't want ambulances or the police suddenly turning up here on the scene. Okay, it's free of charge. So those, especially for the youngsters, you get your credit on the phone for the month, and you suddenly have used it after week 3, and you've got 1 month where you've got very little to spare. You'll be okay. So, what I always recommend, you get through to the operator, you tell them where you are, what the situation is. I have a person, or a male, female, they're not breathing, and I'm going to start doing chest compressions. They will talk you through it as well if you want. You've got the phone. Have you all got the button where you can put it on speakerphone?
Yep.
I recommend you put it on speakerphone. Okay, so you can put your phone down there on speakerphone. You're doing your chest compressions. Yeah, okay, yeah, I'm doing that. Right, yeah, I can hear the ambulance coming in. I've got someone now, I can send them. So you're in communication.
I've got one question.
Yes.
You know, with the compressions,
Yes.
you do it like that, or some people do it like that? Like,
Yeah, I'll cover that in a minute for you. Okay, good question, but just hold it there and we'll definitely cover it in a minute. The other thing is, if this doesn't work properly, right, and unfortunately the person goes to hospital, you've done your bit of keeping them alive for a while, they go to hospital and die and the coroner gets involved, and they want to know what was happening from your part when you arrived, okay, everything you're saying on that phone is recorded at the other end. So what the operator says to you and what you reply and what the coroner does listens to that, and in about 98% of the cases that will be sufficient. He won't even need to call you. Alright, because it's not a very nice experience going before a coroner, okay, and unfortunately you can't refuse. If you get the letter through, you have to attend. So if it's all recorded, it's good stuff. Okay, plus it's also backup because you've got a qualified person the other end reminding you of what we've gone through. So at the moment we've got A for airway, B for breathing, C for compression. Okay, I'm getting the compressions going and I've got that call in. There's a fourth one now and it's D. Any idea what that could stand for? What could help get this person back to life? We see them on the walls of certain places.
Defibrillator.
Defibrillator, well done, I'm glad someone got it. Okay, so, have you seen a defibrillator on a wall somewhere?
Yes.
What is that? Like,
It's a device, it's normally in a yellow case normally.
oh, is it that?
That's it, yeah, you put it on, yeah, let's...
It's the only way you can explain it.
Right, okay. Let me clarify, you've seen the old version where you put it... We don't do that
You
anymore.
rub it and charge it, don't you?
No, we haven't got to rub it, we haven't got to put it up to 240, 220, whatever, right? All it is just 2 pads, and you put one at the top there, one on the bottom there, okay? They are shown on the picture, okay? And then it's plugged in and the device will talk you through it. It'll tell you to put the top pad on it, it'll tell you to put the bottom one, it will say stand clear everyone, assessing, stand clear charging, stand clear, deliver charge. And you just press the button. And before you press the button, all you need to do is look around and make sure no one is touching, okay? Because if I'm doing that and Helen's not got any pulse, or breathing at all, right, her heart's completely stopped, put the device onto her, what it's going to do is come straight through, because of that connection there, it will pick up my rhythm. Okay, so by raking that, it will say deliver charge. The moment we go back in to that, it will say no, don't charge, don't deliver. Okay,
It's very clever.
it's a very good device. So where do you think we're going to find these devices? Because they're most important that you've got an idea of where to start looking. Go on.
I see one at gym.
So we've got one at the gym, alright? I'm not going to ask you for the name. So we've got gym. Anywhere else?
Hospitals.
Hospitals have got them.
Schools.
Sports halls have got them. Swimming pools. Schools. Any of you go down into London?
Yes.
Yep. Have a look at the Underground. The Underground's got them. Yeah? St Pancras. Any of you fly out of airports?
Yeah.
Have a look at the airport next time you go down. You'll start to see these now. They're going to start hitting you in the face at shore. Right? Defibrillator. Yeah? They've got them in the airports. Go into Tesco's, Sainsbury's, Morrison's, Aldi, wherever. And I know Tesco's, Sainsbury's have got them on the walls. Right? And it says used by trained operator. Well, the hardest thing is open the box and switch the device on. That's the hardest bit, because the rest of it teaches you through, okay? So I've got help coming. So what I'm going to do now...
Just quickly, I believe there's a register you can go on online and it tells you where these are kept on this registry.
They are there. Also, when you've done your phone call, so if I've got Helen come to my help, which is why I didn't want to phone the emergency service right at the start, because A, I don't know what I've got, and B, I don't know if I've got any help, right? They will give you the code for these. So the yellow ones that you see on the wall, they've got a PIN code. The operator will give you that, but then what they will do afterwards is ensure that one of the emergency services will go out and replenish the pads, and also make sure that the device is up and running, like the battery's fully charged, etc., for the next time it's needed, okay? A lot of the villages now, the red post box, telephone boxes, they're now being converted into places for storing these. So when you think there's a telephone, you open the door and you find the defibs there instead. Alright, bit annoying when your mobiles run out, but... So what I'm going to do is just going to recap. So we've got D for danger, R for response, S for shout. Okay. Young lad in the blue for me again. Can you give me the first 4 letters of the alphabet?
A, B, C, D.
A, B, C, D. Okay.
We're missing D, I'm afraid. Pretend this is D.
Okay. Airway, breathing, the chest compression stroke call for help, and then D for the defibrillator. Okay? And it's as easy as that. Doctors, A, B, C, D. Alright? So I'll just do a run through, and then I will go quiet, and then allow you to have a practice in your groups. So I've come in, I look up, make sure there's no problems. I've spotted I've got this, so I'm going to have to be careful of my head. I'm looking at the route, I've got a mannequin, I can go round that, and I've got the chair. Okay, it looks okay round the person, I'm not going to injure myself, and I can't smell any gas. So I've done my D for danger, I come down by the person. Hello, can you hear me? I've got no response. R for response. Help! See what happens with that one. Okay, in the meantime, I'm going for airway. So open the mouth, tilt the head back, have a look. Right, okay. Look, listen and feel. How long do I look, listen and feel for?
10 seconds.
10 seconds, well done, thank you. Okay, I've got no thing coming. I've got Helen here. Helen, can you use your phone, please?
Okay, yeah.
112 on your mobile.
Yep.
Tell them where we are.
Yeah.
Right, I've got a male. Yeah, I'm in Bletchley.
Okay.
Okay. Tell them we've got a male, about 55. Appears not to be breathing.
Right.
Okay, and I've started doing
Okay.
chest compressions.
I'll come back when I've got hold.
Can't stay here a minute. Let me know what they say. And ask them if they've got a defib. If they tell you where the defib is, go and get it. Okay? I'm going in with the chest compressions. Helen's doing all my admin for me. Yeah? She's got it on talk through, I can still listen what's going on. Okay? If she's going to go and get the defib, leave the phone there. Because you want your conversation recorded. Okay?
You're going to talk through the position of the...
Yeah, so if you have a look on most bodies, we've got the nipples are very clearly, prominently in position whenever you look at someone's body. Get the palm of your hand on one, just put it between them about halfway. So if you sort of look and say about halfway, just there on the chest. One, put the other one on top. Now, someone said putting that like that, some said like that. It's whatever you feel easiest at, okay? If you're a very strong person, works out at the gym, okay, probably can get away with doing it one-handed, okay? We've got the young lad there, he's going to probably need both his hands to get it going down. Don't worry when you grow up and you go to the gym. Okay, don't worry. All right, what we normally say is we'll have between the nipples, halfway, just put the palm down, other hand on top, lock it together and go. What you don't want to do is that, because that's how you're going to break ribs. Okay, so don't break contact once that one goes down. Keep it going. Okay, you're looking for about a third of the depth of the body going down. Okay, so if you work your bodies that, you just need to work out about a third, get it down. Ideally, we're looking for about 100 to 120 compressions a minute. Sounds a lot, and you won't keep it up. Trust me, you will not keep this going for very long. But that's what you're aiming for.
So, by the time you're doing the compression, how would you know if that person is dead or still alive?
We cannot pronounce someone dead. We are not medical experts. A doctor and certain paramedics are allowed to do that. Okay, so what we need to do is give this person the best chance possible. So what we're going to do is we'll keep going until either they start breathing normally, and that's like we are now, not the that's not normal breathing, is it?
No.
Normal breathing is exactly what we're doing now. So they start breathing normally, we get exhausted, or the emergency services turn up and they take over. But please, when the emergency services turn up, carry on, right? Because what they'll do is they'll come and say, you're doing a really good job there, mate, carry on. And they'll get their stuff out and they'll be putting in wires, and if there's no defib, they'll be putting the defibrillator on and everything, okay, to work around it. So they'll work around you, and then they'll tell you to back off and they'll take over. And what you might end up having to do is come here, and they'll probably have an oxygen mask there, and they'll just ask you to hold it there in place, okay? And then there'll be a tube that goes to an oxygen cylinder. Okay, you've probably seen the oxygen cylinders, have you? Yeah. And of course they don't last forever, so they are working against the clock with these.
Can you just explain what the compressions do?
Right, so basically, we've got the heart there. We've got the heart, which is about the size of a clenched fist, slightly left of centre, gentleman just behind the camera, so it's that, okay, and the heart should be going in and out as it pumps normally, okay. If that stops, we need to help it. So by us putting our palm on and pressing, we're actually doing it manually instead of it doing itself. And what that does is it pumps the oxygen around the body. We need to get it to the brain. It's the most important. Anyone, any ideas if you starve the brain of oxygen for how long? How long is it you starve the oxygen from the brain before there's brain damage?
1 to 2 minutes.
It's about 3 minutes maximum, so that's a good guess. Yeah, once you get to 2 minutes you can start to get problems. But 3 minutes and you're definitely going to have problems. But that is probably about the size of an adult heart. Yeah.
What you've got to remember, this is in the body, and over this you've got the rib cage. So when you're pressing down on the body, you're on the mannequin, you're actually pressing on the rib cage going up and down, and that's going up and down on the heart to force it. So it is quite common, particularly in older people, for you to hear a click a crack, so you can break ribs, but that's just really telling you you're doing this properly, you're getting down far enough and the heart is going in and out. We always say a rib can be mended. It will mend over time, a heart can't. So if you don't worry, just carry on going.
Any questions on that one?
Okay.
Would you carry on going at the same rate, so if it's broken at the same
Yeah.
pressure?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep it going.
The chances are it won't go straight away. So you've been going at this for quite a while, so you're going to be getting tired, so you won't be going down quite so much. But the important thing to do is you're trying to keep this pumping, and to do that you've got to go at the same rate and the same depth.
Anyone got any idea how long it takes for an ambulance? We phone an ambulance now and we're not going to, but if we did and said that we've got someone that's had a heart attack and now they've just collapsed on the floor, not breathing, right, how long has the ambulance got to get to us?
10 minutes.
5 minutes.
5, 12. They've actually got 8 minutes to get to you on what's known as a code red, alright? Priority A.
What if they take a bit longer?
Well, they will do, because sometimes we haven't got the ambulances to send straight away,
Yeah.
which is why they send the ambulance car out, or there's a community responders in some areas, if you're in the villages, and we get that there, or we've got these defib units that are coming up in most of the villages and certain areas. If we can get one of them on, that's going to help, okay? So there's a lot of different things out there now, because the ambulance service is literally snowed under. Because if you think about it, they pick you up, they take you down to, is it the L&D's, your nearest hospital?
Yeah.
Yep.
So in Milton Keynes.
Milton Keynes, so you've got Milton Keynes Open University one, isn't it there, isn't it? It's the University Hospital. So you go to Milton Keynes, ambulance pulls up, gets the person out the back, and it's not a case of, thank you, we drive off. They've got to talk through to the doctor and the nurse of what they've got. There's paperwork to do before they can leave, alright? It's probably going to take about 15-20 minutes to do a handover. So that's 20 minutes before we can release this ambulance now to come to Helen. So if we've just pulled up, right, I've pulled up with Graham at the doors with the ambulance, we've got you out, and then phone call comes in to say Helen's had this heart attack, we're going to be 20 minutes before we leave Milton Keynes. Yeah? So we need to be able to do something. Now, as someone said about keeping the pressure going, you will tire. So after 2 minutes, if you've got an assistant, just get them to come over and take over. Helen, or Graham, come on in, you come over.
Yep.
Okay, right, what I'm going to do in a minute, I'm going to come off,
Yep.
and I want you just to get your hands where I am now,
Yep.
and just keep pressing, alright? Are you ready?
Yep.
Now. Okay? Don't ask them, tell them. 'Cause if you ask them, they're not going to do it. They're frightened to do it. Thanks very much, Ron. So, just tell them and they'll do it. If you've got the defib fitted, after about 2 minutes, it will ask you to stop so it can then recheck and see whether another shock is required. That's the ideal time to do the changeover. Okay?
So if you have a defib, then how long do you have to do the compressions for before you do the defib?
Right, get the defib on as quickly as we can. Let that start going. That'll do all its checks, and it'll say charge required, stand clear, so you just make sure no one touches it. Deliver charge, check around, make sure no one's touching, press the button, it will deliver the charge. Then it will come in and say start CPR, cardiopulmonary resuscitation. Right, chest compressions, very simple. You'll be doing this, and then it will say after 2 minutes, stop. Analysing. Stand clear, charge required. Charging. So make sure no one's touching it. Deliver charge. So just check, press the button.
Right, so if you have a defib, you do that first before compression?
Get the defib on.
Yeah.
Quicker you get the defib on, and that initial shock can go through. Do you all use computers?
Yeah.
Do you ever get it and it's really annoying when it suddenly freezes and nothing happens? So what do? You restart, and all we're doing is we're stopping the heart for a split second and restarting it. Okay? Those of you that drive, you ever jump started a car because it's got a flat battery? Yeah, the battery, if you think it's the heart and it stopped working properly, and just give it a charge and it goes through. So, what we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 11, so just split yourself into groups of probably 2 and maybe one of the 3.
So dangers is the first bit of that. You've got the mannequin you're going to be walking towards. Do all the checks. Remember, up, down, around, and also the smell. Okay?
Smells like curry at the moment.
I didn't want to say that. I was being really good at not mentioning food. Okay, let's go for it then. So let's check for the dangers. Yeah, mind your head. Same as me.
Okay?
Sounds good, doesn't it?
Alright, let's do it.
Okay, so when you've got to the mannequin, make sure you're okay. Oh, brilliant. Okay, get to your mannequin and then do your response.
2 hands.
2 hands.
Yeah, 2 hands, one either side. Just a tap.
Yep. No one's waking up, so you do your shout for help.
Help!
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 People are coming towards you. Now you get into
What do you want me to do,
the
mate?
airways.
What do you want me to do?
So this is where you're tilting the head back and making sure there's nothing in the airway. Remember, don't stick your finger in. Then we get on to B for breathing. So this is look, listen and feel.
Talk me through it.
Yep. So you've got to look down the chest.
Yeah, go on then. So one hand on there. That's it. Open the mouth. Yeah. So look in there. You're looking for things that could be food.
Okay. We've got no one breathing. So straight into your chest compressions.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're going to do 2 things at once. While you're doing your chest compressions, you're going to send your bystander for help.
You need to come here. Yep. I'm here. Right, have you got a phone on you? Yep. Call the emergency services. Hello. We've got a white male here, age about 60. He's not breathing at all. I'm carrying out this. Okay, stay here, don't go anywhere. I need your help.
So,
Speed is really good. If you could do a bit quicker, that would be fantastic. Yeah.
Still not breathing.
that's it.
Okay. Did you get here quickly? It's code red.
Yeah, can you
Oh, very good. You watch plenty of doctor programs.
You don't hear
Is there
anything.
any defibrillators around?
Now what are you going to do?
Get the code for the
Ask them
defibrillator.
and see if they've got one.
do you have a defibrillator?
Yeah, go on then. Let's go
Get
for
the
it.
code for the defibrillator.
Get in, go for the ambulance. Okay.
Press down
Yeah,
machine.
well,
Faster.
they could be anywhere. Police stations, fire
As soon as
stations,
possible.
ambulance stations might have them.
Don't worry about it. Write down the instructions.
Doing a good job there.
You'll get guidance.
Are you assisting?
The call handler will tell you how they're going to be. And if they're going to be quite weak, they'll probably say about what they're going to be. If they're going to be a while, if they're going to be a while, then they might say that you go on. So they'll take them. Oh, brilliant. She probably isn't.
I'll drop it down to the ambulance, get another option.
Put some more pressure on that sand. So you're not putting any pressure on. Go right down to the...
Okay, got the defibrillator now. Move away, move away, move away. Analyzing. Press the buzz. Right, there you go. How you doing, mate?
Probably won't do first time around. I think you need to do a few more chest compressions.
Is that easier? Yeah. So you're not bending your arms, making it hard for yourself. Help a lot. Yeah.
Imran, you're going to kill that person.
So why we changed it after.
Imran, sorry.
There we go.
Isn't that a bit too quick?
A little bit too fast.
Yeah, a bit too fast.
You're looking for like 120 minutes. That's what I think.
Very good. quick one.
Every half a
I
second.
can just get away with it.
Because you've got 60
Okay,
seconds.
is everybody kneel down? Okay, so you're doing response, so that's the firm. Yep.
Hello. Oh, my son. Hello.
Okay, so you're going to shout for help.
Help. Help. Help.
Yep, people are coming to your help. You just hold them there, and then you do your airway. So tilt the head back. Just have a look carefully in the mouth.
See if they've got bad breath.
But you'll find that out. Don't put your fingers in. Okay, nothing stuck in there. So now you're going to check for breathing.
What about like when you have to breathe into the mouth?
Well, you don't do that because you can't get that done in 2 hours. So if you want to do that, get another we'll come on to that in a minute. It's ideal, but this is basic. This will get
I know what the brush it does, but I don't know what the breathing is.
so, okay, you've done your check for breathing, so you're going to go into your compressions. With compressions, you're just relying on the oxygen already in the blood. So when you breathe into someone, you're going to get a little bit more oxygen in. So it is ideal if you can. But it helps, yeah. You're going to get a little bit more oxygen in, but not all that much. And what we can do in 2 hours, or we can give us an idea of basics.
Just pick up the signal.
Do first to
It goes through to the network. Just take probably about 4 or 5 seconds.
That's alright. I told you that there's a lot of dead bodies around here. Yeah.
You've got to tell him to come and...
Defibrillator, so what's an AED? Well, an AED is a defibrillator, right? It's automated, it's external, and it's defibrillator. AED, that's what it stands for. Automated, yeah, external defibrillator. So, that's the one. Okay, anyone got any questions on that?
It's difficult.
It's difficult. When the adrenaline's going, you'll just go for it, I tell you. The last one me and Helen done was working for about an hour, and to be honest I didn't realise it was an hour until I was at the debrief afterwards and I looked at my watch. If you ever do this, right, and there's a paramedic left at the end, just have a brief chat with them. It could be, what could I have done different? Did I do everything right? They'll talk you through it, but talk to someone. The younger generation, you've got your elders here, talk to them, don't bottle it up inside, okay? It's the worst thing you can do. Even as adults like myself, the last one I did, I went down to the ambulance station and I sat and had a chat, right, with one of the senior training paramedics, right, and we discussed what did I do, could I have done anything different, right, what I had done, I'd saved the lady for about 24 hours so the family were able to get there and say goodbyes. Yeah, so it was a result when I looked at it that way, which I wasn't looking at. All I was looking at was the final result of death 24 hours later. As I said, no, take it back to what you did in the house was right. You got her back. We got her down to the hospital. We were correct. The hospital done everything they could. All right, the family were there to say goodbyes. And they were most appreciative, with all but one. But they just wanted someone to make, and you're going to get that, so... But yeah, always talk about it. Someone mentioned to me, would we do this on a child and a baby? The difference on a child, which is deemed someone between about 1 and 8, we use one hand instead of two. If it's a baby, we use 2 fingers. Okay? So 2 fingers for a baby.
So if I hold that up there for you.
So baby is 2 fingers, a child is 1 hand, and then adult is 2. Okay?
And don't forget the baby is small enough that you'd probably be cradling them in your arms and you'd be doing this. Because that's quite firm. I
can actually just about do it on that. Okay. Now, someone said, what about this kiss of life? You see them, right, putting mouth over mouth, mouth over nose. What we've shown you is the very basics to get you going with a person. If it's a loved one, And I don't know how many of you remember the Vinnie Jones caption now when they first started all of this off, saying chest compressions, you only kiss the loved ones. But if you want to, after doing 30 compressions, you could do 2 breaths. And all you're going to do is pinch the nose, open the mouth, take a deep breath. 2 breaths in, okay? The chest will rise. So, come back into your chest compressions, 30 compressions, 2 breaths, 30 compressions, 2 breaths. If it's someone you think, hang on, their face is smashed up, I don't like the look of this person, I don't feel comfortable doing it, whatever, if you can just get them chest compressions going, you're going to give this person a really good fighting chance of survival. Okay? All I'm doing is showing you what you can do. You can do the same. You can keep the mouth shut and blow in via the nose. Okay? And if it's a baby, and this is the only time you do it, is on a baby, put your mouth over the mouth and nose, because if you think the size of a baby, so your mouth goes over their mouth and nose, and just a light blow from the cheeks, so you don't even need to take a deep breath or anything for them, for a baby. If you think you've got someone that's 2 months old, and I took a deep breath and blew into them, right, their little lungs, I'm just going to bust, and once they've gone, we've got a problem. Okay, so we need to be careful. So, baby, mouth and nose, and just from your cheeks. Child and adult, either the mouth or the nose. Whichever one you blow into, keep the other one sealed, otherwise the air comes out. So, any questions so far?
David.
Yes.
Gentleman over there in the corner divides a question with me. What happens if you start to get a response?
If you get a response, as in they start breathing normally, we then put them into the recovery position and we monitor them and we move them from the recovery position, so they'll be on, say, their left side. We can then put them over to their right side after about 30 minutes, okay, if the ambulance is going to be a real long time. Because the moment you get a response, your Cat A, high risk, now drops down. It'll probably become a Cat B, right? So that ambulance that's on its way, and you're on the phone saying, oh, they've started breathing now, put them in the recovery position, the ambulance is now diverted to another Cat A, alright? So that's the resuscitation. Choking. Any idea what could cause choking?
The tongue?
Tongue's one, yeah.
Vomit?
Vomit?
Food?
Food's the prime one, isn't it? You go out for a meal. Okay, as someone said, the curry smell. Okay, very nice. But it could be a bit of large bit of food and you just swallow it wrong and it blocks the airway. So, what are we going to do for the person? So, this person here, right, they're choking. What's the first thing I'm going to do?
Ask if they need help.
Are they choking? You're right, yeah. Are you choking? No. If they say no because they're mucking around, that's fine. Right? Because we can all muck around like I did with you down here on the floor, wasn't it? You said, oh, come here, do this or whatever, and I just said, oh, hang on, you've killed this person. What? So yeah, think about it. Okay. Are you choking?
Yes.
Right. So, what are you going to ask them to do then to try and get rid of this?
Can you breathe?
It's breathing, yeah, that's one. We want to try and help their breathing. Someone did say it. It was certainly coming from this.
Cough.
Cough, well done. Can you cough for me? Just bend them over slightly. Go on, cough it up. That might be enough to dislodge it. Okay? If unfortunately it doesn't, okay, what we're going to have to do is what's known as a back blow. And it's not back slap, as some of you may remember the word. We're not allowed to slap anyone anymore. Political correctness gone wrong. Right. Slap is assault, so we call it a back blow. And all it is the palm onto the back, tilt the person. What do you think I'm going to do after I've done that?
Move away.
See if things come out.
I'm going to check and see if it's come out first before I do the second one. Check. I'm going to do that 5 times, but check after each one, alright? Because if I've just slapped him over the back 5 times and it's come out on the first one, I'm not going to be very popular.
Depends if you like him or not.
Yeah. I think your friendship's going to deteriorate very fast. So yeah. Back blow, check. Back blows, check. Back blow, check. Back blow, check. And back blow, check. Then what do you think you're going to do? Sorry.
So whereabouts in the back? Would it be towards the upper or middle or lower?
Anywhere around the back there, that'd be fine. Just there, be fine. Okay. Yeah. The main thing is to get him over, so if it was, I'm doing this with Graham, I would actually support him right there, because if he does suddenly go and topples, I can break the fall. Because if he's going down, I don't want him to hit his head. If he hits his head, we're going to have major injury.
How hard do you have to blow?
How hard?
How hard do you have to...
Oh, just a reasonable amount of pressure. Okay. It's going to be hard because your pressure compared to mine is going to be different, which is going to be compared different to these children coming in, the younger. Any ideas what you're going to do now?
Someone said to do the Heimlich maneuver.
Is it grab him?
If they're still choking, right?
Yeah, it's still choking. After the 5, what are we going to do?
Squeeze the stomach.
Squeeze their belly.
Yeah. And what do we call it?
A Heimlich.
Helen?
Abdominal thrusts, bit of a mouthful. Because the Heimlich family, the father invented this manoeuvre and it clearly works. There was a lot of publicity, but after he died, the family wanted to start charging
Money for the rights to
exactly,
print it.
Yeah. So every time it was printed, they wanted some money. Every time it was mentioned in a video, they wanted money. And in the end, everyone who does life support, first aid, be it British Heart Foundation, St John's, etc., said that was enough. So we've got this abdominal thrusts now.
So and that's very simple. We clench the fist.
Same manoeuvre, exactly the same, it's just a different name for it.
Clench the fist. If you just feel around there on your own bodies a minute, you'll find that there's a point just there. Can you feel it? So all you're trying to do is get the fist in there, come in and pull in. 1. So lean the person forward, in and up if you can do it. Do it on yourself if you want. Do not, I repeat, do not do this on anyone else unless it's for the real. Yeah, please. So just in and up and check after every one. So and we do 5 of those. So we've done 5 back blows, 5 abdominal thrust, 5 back blows, 5 abdominal thrust, 5 back blows, 5 abdominal thrust. So you've done this full cycle 3 times. At that point, get someone to get help, 999. What I would say is if you ever do anything relating to choking, the moment you've done that first back blow, ask the person to go and see their doctor or nurse and explain what's happened. Alright, just in case, and it is only in case there is any other unknown symptoms there, okay? They could sort of check them over, they could wire them up and do an ECG and then find out that there is a problem. They could check and find out that not all of the stuff's come out and it could cause them problems later on. So if you ever administer back blow, abdominal thrust, send the person for medical help afterwards. But once you've done the cycle 3 times, 5 on each. Okay.
Can you put your fingers in the mouth and make them vomit?
No. Why don't we put our fingers in the mouth? Yes.
Put something else in their mouth then.
No, don't, please don't. So if I swallow that, we're going to have a problem. Someone did say to me about the reading that they'd seen, and if we blew in and there was something there blocking it, would it cause further problems if it went down? But what it does, it goes in through the pharynx, the epiglottis and the larynx, and it breaks down to go into the lungs. And we've got 2 lungs. So it'll drop into one and block, and it'll leave, and you can live with 1 lung. Because all they'll do, when they get to the hospital, as long as you pass the details on, they'll look straight away for that, and they'll just little cut, suction, take the item out, probably put it in a little tube for you, an envelope, and you can have it as a souvenir. Okay, a couple of stitches and you'll be as right as rain on that side. So don't panic if you do blow and it pushes the item down into one of the lungs, and it will normally be the left lung that gets blocked first because it's slightly higher than the other one.
Sometimes what we get asked is if they're choking, what happens if they collapse? And if you imagine we're doing that cycle 3 times, so 5 of everything 3 times, it takes quite a while. So if you're choking, say, for 15 minutes, you could well collapse. As soon as someone does collapse and you go down on the floor, you start what we were doing earlier. You immediately do a quick doctor's ABC check, and if they're not breathing, then you go straight into the chest compressions. And at that point, the chest compressions might just be enough to actually dislodge whatever they were choking on. But it's exactly the same. As soon as they go down on the floor, do your doctor's ABC and start all of that again.
Alright, paramount, get that danger one. Right, get yourself checked. Okay, if you've got the defib, get that along, let that analyse it first. So, major bleeding. I'm going to hand this one over to Helen. Just for a change. I'm going to.
Right, just a quick cut. You've fallen over. We're not going to tell you anything about that. You're just common sense, watch it. What we tell you in this emergency life support is about a major bleed. So something really nasty to the arm, something to the leg perhaps. So something you might be doing, clearing up after a party, you might have had a bottle of orange squash, something like that, and it's gone into your arm.
So we've now gone into an artery and the blood is now spurted straight away down to the far end of this room. I've cut the artery because it's pumping from the heart.
So first thing, oh right, okay, let me get that on. Have you got your other hand?
Yeah.
Right, you put that pressure on there. Now can you sit down for me? Come on, sit down. Graham, can you go and get me another cloth please? Right, down, right, let's get that up. Okay. Graham, you've got that other cloth? Oh, how about your coat?
Yeah, I don't have that.
Yeah, thank you very much. Right, just lift your arm quickly. Leave that on. Yep. Right, hold that up. And how do you feel?
I feel a bit faint actually.
Okay, lean back carefully. Right, let's see if we can stop this. Okay.
Feeling dizzy.
Right, Graham, can you phone 999 for me, please?
What do you want me to tell them?
We've got a nasty cut to an artery. I've got it raised up for them. We're applying pressure. I think it might soon be stopping. Yeah. Just get them if you can.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Okay.
So that's talked you through a situation, but if I break that down for you all, we've had a cut to the arm. I've immediately got something to hopefully start stopping the bleeding, or at least to start absorbing stuff, the blood. The important thing is, once you've got something covering the cut, you do not remove that bottom layer, because that's against the wound and hopefully it's starting to congeal and to stop bleeding. If it's starting to come through, as that one was, you just need to get another cloth or coat, anything to absorb the blood. If that gets too messy, that second one you can take off, but just remember not to take that bottom one off. Just ideally keep going with more cloths on top. What I've done with David, I've got him sitting down as low as possible, because if he is losing a lot of blood, he might well faint, and I'd rather him go over when he's on the floor and I can put him in and start doing the doctor's ABC or something like that to him, rather than him fall on me. What I've also got him to do, if you can wake up, other arm, I immediately got him to do something, so he's taken his mind off of it, and certainly with David he can put more pressure on the wound than I can, so that's trying to stop it as well. We've also raised it above the heart, so if you remember earlier, the heart's down here on the left hand side. As with any pump, if you're pumping uphill, it's quite difficult, so I've raised it up above his head to try and stop the amount of blood that's pumping up. Okay.
Okay, what you could also do is just raise the feet very slightly as well. So basically, even this would be enough, right? Just raise it so the blood's now running back down my legs towards the heart here. So it's bringing it back to here. I've got my arm up, so that's now coming down. Okay, so it's helping put all the blood where it can into the heart where you need it, because you're starting to lose blood, so you want to get as much of it there to pump round. Yes?
Basically, I'm a dialysis patient, and basically what we've got known is a fistula or a graft.
Yes.
And if that starts to bleed, what I've read in some situations is, if it's a major bleed and you can't stop bleeding, then put a bottle top over it. Is that bottle top, bottle lid over the bleed? Would you do that or not?
We're getting very complicated into a specific injury here.
Okay.
What I'm looking at is very basic, as we've used emergency life support. It's very basic, but yeah, I can see where you're coming from, but I don't want to complicate it, because I could take you into other situations. What do you do with pregnant women and things like that, because they're very slightly different, each situation. But what we're trying to do is go for there, but you are right in what you said.
Yeah.
I think if you're at all concerned, talk to your doctor about it, and if that's likely to happen, make sure the people around you, your loved ones, know how to treat it, and if that's the way they recommend.
When you're at work, get one or two, try and get 2 people at work in case one's off that knows how to deal with you. Alright, you're at school, make sure you've got a couple of teachers, or if you've got a nurse there, have a chat with them. Okay?
So that's what you would do, how you would treat a bleed to the arm, a serious bleed to the arm. Very similar for the leg. Get them down as soon as you can and lift the leg up. So we'd get the chair in and try and get the leg lifted up.
Okay.
I think the only other thing to say on major bleeding, I use the idea of a bottle going into, David cutting himself on a bottle. If you've perhaps got a piece of glass and it's actually sticking out of the wound, don't pull that out.
Do not.
Absolutely.
Not pull it out.
That might actually just be sealing some of the wound up, and as soon as you take that out, it may well just blood go everywhere. So leave that in and try and get a cloth either side of it and squeeze it together, because that will just be helping you to seal it. So if there's anything in the wound, don't take it out.
Okay. Recognition of a heart attack. Any ideas how we're going to know about a heart attack?
Someone drops on the floor. Someone drops on the floor?
Someone drops on the floor, yeah.
Struggling to breathe.
Struggling to breathe.
Severe pains on the chest.
Yeah, severe pains on the chest. And remember, men and women on this one, believe it or not, will react different. Us as men, right, we don't like pain, and we're going to let everyone know that we're in pain. Ladies, for some unknown reason, can take it better, okay, and they don't always show the symptoms immediately. They might be in pain, but they don't reveal it to us. Graham's got a poster there if he holds that up. I don't know if you can hold it, Graham, for the camera first of all, please. Is that in focus for you, sir?
Yep, it's fine.
Okay, so basically with this one, right, pain or discomfort to the chest that doesn't go away. The pain now may spread to the left or the right arm. Predominantly it will go to the left initially. Okay. May spread to the neck and jaw. You may start to feel sick or short of breath. These are just signs. You could have back pain as well. Okay, we're not saying by having any of these you're having a heart attack. What we're saying is it's a good indication. Okay. We will give you a little brochure to go away with, free of charge. Don't worry, you haven't got to pay for them today. Everything's free. Okay. So, I've got the signs. So what we're going to do for someone with a heart attack. What are you going to do for me? Someone quick.
Support him.
Are you alright? I'm on there.
So very similar to when we had the bleed, you're trying to get them down to the floor as soon as possible, because if they do start to have an issue, if they do start to go unconscious, they're much better off on the floor.
That's it, he's gone.
So again, we'd start with doctors ABC again. So as soon as they go down like that, it's doctors ABC. If they're not quite as bad as that, if they're just feeling unwell, come on, sit down for me. Come on. There we go. Right, lean up against me or the wall. Ideally, get them up against the wall. Bit of furniture. Get their knees up. So if you was to turn around, you'd have a little bit of a W position. Okay, so you've got the body going down and then up for the knees, so it's vaguely a W. And then just talk to them, reassuring them. Okay, are you feeling a bit iffy?
I don't feel very well actually. I've got
Where
a
have
real
you got
chest
pain?
in there.
Right.
And I've got that funny tingling sensation in my fingers.
Okay, Graham, can you just come and talk to David for a minute, and I'll just go and get some help. There, if you take over from me there.
Hello.
So I would go away from the
I've got chest
patient.
pain. I don't know.
I'd
I've had it for
try
about half an
and
hour.
get well away from him to make a phone call.
Okay. Helen's made a quick phone call. Think about it. I'm on the phone. Hiya. Yeah, I've got a person here I think's having a heart attack.
Oh my God,
What are you going to do? You just nearly burst out laughing to me, haven't you? Yes? Right. We can make fun of this at the moment, right, because we're in the training scenario, okay. But think about it. How shocking is that going to be to someone that suddenly thinks, hang on, they're having a heart attack? Yeah. Hi, I'm with a person now. They're a male. They're about 50, 55. They're complaining of a pain round about the centre of their chest. Yeah, it's slightly to the left. That's it, yes. Yeah, they've also said they've got a funny sensation in their left arm. It's like pins and needles, I think they refer.
So if I'm the call handler at the other end on the ambulance line, okay, what you've just told me there, do you think he could possibly be having a heart attack?
My answer is then going to be a yes or no.
So this is one where
you don't know what's happened, do you? All you've heard me is relay your symptoms of chest pain, slightly left of centre, and that you've got this funny sensation. It's like a pins and needles effect to you, and that's what I've relayed to the operator. The operator's now come back and spoke to me directly, okay, and said, is it a heart attack, do you think? I say yes, they can deal with that appropriately.
So this is one occasion where you wouldn't have it on speakerphone, because if it's on speakerphone they're going to be hearing the other side. So I would keep this private, but you can be answering yes and no to their questions. They can be getting you help, and all the time keeping the individual hopefully quite relaxed.
Any questions on that one?
What's happening to the heart when it's having an attack? What's going on?
Right, so where's our little heart gone? You can remember, as I said earlier, we've got the heart, it's breathing. So when we go into a heart attack, it's jumping all about. It's not doing what it should be doing, all right? It's irregular. And what we've got to try and do is get that back to normality, okay? And one of the ways, get the defib on, let that work it out, whether it needs to go through. That may be enough to stabilise it. It could be that the technicians turn up, the paramedics, they can give you medication for it, you go into hospital. And quite often you hear this thing where someone goes into the hospital and it sounds really bad, because they say, what we're going to do is stop the body, stop the heart working, switch it off. And that's quite alarming to someone that doesn't understand very well. But all they're going to do is just stop it and then restart the heart.
So how do they do that then?
That's done by the medical team with medication. All right, they'll use a medication, stop the heart for a split second, restart it, and it should then. So instead of doing that, goes back to normal. Okay. Thank you very much. Did I answer the question?
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh.
You know, there's a lot of people that survive from heart attacks. Why is that then? Is it because like the response time?
It could be getting them done very quickly. It could be that the moment, the first time they get this pain, they think, I'll go and have a chat with my nurse. Right, I don't know with your surgeries around here. Definitely with mine, Once you get to 45, the doctor calls you in once a year. I always class it as an MOT, alright? I just go down to see the nurse, right, and we have a 30-minute chat, right? She'll have me go to the hospital first, blood test, a couple of weeks before, and then when I go and see her, I sit there with 30 minutes where she has a chat about the results. She asks me what sort of lifestyle I've got, what am I doing, am I smoking, am I drinking, am I getting stressed out at work, have I got any pains anywhere? And if there's anything there she's not happy, she'll just get on the phone, get the doctor down, and then I can talk to the doctor if need be, and then they can sort out the medication. So it could be something very simple that the blood tests come up and she'll say, what sort of food do you eat? Well, actually with work, all I'm doing is really going in the chippy 5 nights a week. Right, I'm lucky I get a curry on a Saturday night as a treat, and then Sunday I have my Sunday roast. And she's probably going to say it's not ideal food because you're probably what you're doing during the day, McDonald's, Burger King, KFC. It's all bad food taken in that quantity, and it could be pushing my blood levels wrong and causing diabetes, for example, one of the common things that people suffer with. So then they can sort that out with you. So you get your diet sorted out, they can give you medication. So you just need to be careful. If you're not sure, you go and see your doctor, nurse, and that's where probably someone that's got it, right, they've reacted quick enough or help's been there. I always think of the situation, it's what if, right, and if you're a police officer and you've got to go and knock on the door and say, excuse me, can I come in? I'm really sorry, your husband collapsed in town this morning, right, you've got the 2 shopping bags, so I assume he was doing the shopping for you, which by the way I've brought here, but he collapsed on the floor, right, and unfortunately he died. First question is going to come back, was anyone with him? Well, yeah, there was a few people around. Did they do anything? No, actually they thought he was mucking around, just sort of playing the idiot sort of thing, falling on the floor and never done anything. And by the time they'd suddenly thought, hang on, this ain't right, and then someone decided to phone for help and they all stood around waiting for the paramedics to turn up, it was too late. You're going to ask yourself, what if? So we'll take that a slightly different scenario. Really sorry, your husband collapsed, I knew he was doing the shopping. A group of people around by him thought there was something wrong. Someone was straight on to the paramedics, someone rushed down to the shop where he'd just been, got the defibrillator out, right, got his shirt undone quickly, got the defib on there, alright, they started doing chest compressions, the ambulance turned up, pumped him in with all the drugs, got him to the hospital. They'd done a lot of work, but still unfortunately were unable to save him. What else could have been done for that person? Nothing. So it takes away the what if. Okay? So all I'd say to any of you, if you're in doubt, right, check, right, when you have your checkups and that with the doctors or the nurse, let them know. Alright? There are medical helplines that you can go on, use them, okay? So, got recovery position. Who's going down, Helen, you or me? Right, Helen's going to go down for me. Okay. So, I need to put her into the recovery position. Got the hand here. Okay, hand goes there. Get this hand. Just check to make sure she hasn't got any rings, because if she has, because I'm going to put that back onto her cheek, if she has and she scratches, right, so if she's got one of these wedding rings, just turn it round. Okay, put it there. If she's got glasses, remove them, put them on there. Hold that, just run the back of your hand down, make sure there's nothing in the pockets. If there is things like glasses or anything in there, a mobile phone, put everything you take off at the top of the head. You've not stolen it. The moment you put it in your pocket, someone thinks you're nicking it. Okay, let's pull this leg up and just pull her over. Okay, tilt the head back. If she vomits or sick, as someone said, it's going to roll away, but she can breathe, and I can sit here now and just watch her. Okay, You just want to do it again, and I'll do it a bit quicker for them. So, we put one hand up there, bring the hand, check it, hold it. Okay, rolls over. Always support the head, that's the most important thing. Tilt it away, opens the airway. Keep it like that. If after 30 minutes paramedics haven't got to you, you can roll her over, go around the other side, put her in the recovery position on this side, okay? You're just moving them every 30 minutes so it doesn't hurt the body too much. Right, thank you.
Does it have to always be the right?
No, you can go to the left. I just happen to be this way so I can face you. I call it unpoliteness if I'd come and put my backside to you sort of thing and all you could see was my back. But yeah, you could do it from that side if you wanted. It's whichever side you feel easier with. But predominantly just check, right, aid glasses, anything in the pocket so they don't lay on it and crunch it, because some of these phones are about £200. But I think I'd rather be happy that someone saved me than I busted my phone. But yeah, more importantly, especially with ladies with the rings. Okay, young sir, my volunteer that's been here today with me. Okay, come forward. Are we alright to use it on the video?
Yeah, that's fine, yeah.
We are okay.
He's my son, so...
Oh, that's fine, yeah, as long as you're okay with it. Right, I'm going to lay down and you are going to pull me over. Alright, you've got the easy job, okay? Trust me, you've got the easy job. I'm going to make it easier for you because you've got Helen to talk you through it. Alright, and I'm there as well. The rest of you, I just want you to have a quick guess of my weight. He doesn't offend, so don't worry. Okay.
The heavier the better, because what we're trying to do is show you that someone so tiny as you can move someone as large as David without hurting themselves. So if we do it the same way as David did with me, if you get down this side of him, so if you kneel down, so what was the first thing he did? Can you remember?
I think you pick up this one.
Yeah.
Then
moved it out the way.
move it out of the way.
Don't worry where it goes, it will just fall naturally. Okay. You need to get in a bit tighter to him. So you're going to have to lean over. Yep.
Get this on.
That's it.
Then put it around
Yep.
cheek.
Right. I knew you'd do that. If someone's unconscious, they haven't got control of their muscles. So you need to hold on to it.
Okay.
So if you do it again, he'll behave this time, won't you?
Yeah, yes he will.
Right. So if you put your other hand on there, because now you've got to reach down for his knee, can you remember? So just pull his trousers. Yeah. Right. Now just pull that over. If you can, get your hand up there. There we go. Pull over, move back. Right. So what was the most important thing you've got to watch?
Gotta watch the
Head. Yep. So if you just check, I'll move his head for him. So now you can see we've got a clear airway, and if he's sick, it's going to come out here on your carpet, unfortunately. But it saves my washing. Does he look stable? Can you rock him about? Just grab him there. He's quite stable. So then you can just watch him for, watch, make sure he's okay. You can always talk to him.
Hello.
So at least he's conscious. And then you can wait for the ambulance to come. Okay?
How easy was that to pull me over?
Kind of easy.
Kind of easy, good. Any ideas how much I'll weigh someone? 18 we've had a starter. Anything up or down on 18?
I'd say 19.5.
19 stone.
22.
Under 15 kgs.
Yeah. He's got it actually 22.
So you're probably about right in kilograms, I don't know.
Yeah. So yeah, 22 stone, and that's just proof that a youngster can do this. All right.
He's just super strong.
Yeah. But it also proves something else. We could have an elderly person, male or female, in a wheelchair, and they can direct someone else to do. That's why we do train people on what to do, even if they're confined to a wheelchair, because they can then just tell someone what to do. Okay? They haven't told you what to do. If that was the operator on the phone, it's the same thing, isn't it? Except it's the phone talking to you instead of Helen. Okay?
Got a question, David.
Yes.
When do you put someone in a recovery position?
Right. When they start breathing, normally, so when we've done the checks, if they're breathing, we've got signs of breathing, so we've got chest movement, we can hear the breathing, it's normal, and we can feel it. And if ladies, they have the mirror, so you can put the mirror over, and you know what happens if you breathe on a mirror, it smears up, doesn't it? That's another way for the ladies, they get the extra thing because they've normally got this in their handbags. So, we're just looking for normal chest movement, sound of breathing, feeling it, get them into the recovery position, okay, but monitor them, because if they stop breathing, get them back over onto their back, straight into doctor's ABCD. Yeah? So, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So really, once they started breathing, you become exhausted from doing chest compressions, put them into the recovery position, okay? Or, if you're advised by the paramedic when they turn up, okay, they are actually breathing, please put them in a recovery position. If you're not sure, just say, what do you mean? And they'll talk you through it, yeah.
So when they're in the recovery position, you have to monitor them?
Still monitor, because the situation can change. I can remember being down at Stevenage Leisure Centre. I was with a group of paramedics for the day. I've gone out with them. We've turned up at the Leisure Centre and we found the person there, right, unconscious, not breathing. The lifeguard said, well, I heard them breathing. Can you describe the breathing? Yeah. Yeah, that was their last gasp of breath that was coming out. And there was fortunately only about 3 minutes because the ambulance station compared to the swimming pool is fairly close by down there. They were able to do something, but it could have been quite nasty. Lifeguard learned a very valuable lesson that day. So again, it's always a learning curve, you're always learning. You've just done a course, have you, recently in first aid or anything? No. Has anyone done a course on first aid recently? No, no chest compressions or anything like that. You've had to do
about 4 years ago.
4 years ago.
With the breathing.
Yeah. Yeah, you've done the
basic
breathing.
Life support.
Basic life support, yes. British Heart Foundation really are pushing for the chest compressions and the defib, and then they're saying put the breathing in as a last resort on the loved ones or if you feel comfortable. But tests have shown getting the chest compressions going will help tremendously. Okay. Okay, whilst Helen just sets up the defib for me, because I knew someone's bound to ask, has anyone seen a defib used? What I'm actually going to do, I'm just going to use the training one. It's been used quite a few times, so fingers crossed the batteries are going to hold up for me today. So when you get your pack, when you get this pin number, you go off and you get the defib. The defib's going to come with things like a pair of scissors. Any idea what the scissors are for?
Cut the clothes off.
Yeah, cut the clothes, and we cut down, please. Okay? The question I get asked, right, ladies, underclothing, right, bra, do we cut it? Yes, cut it down. Never go up if we go into the throat. Allow the clothing just to flop, and then the pictures will actually designate where to put the pads. You'll also get in there plasters, which is very good if someone's had nipple piercing. Okay, you can just put a bit of tape over if they've had a ring put into their nipple or something like that. There'll be a razor, right? Some men become the chest gets a lot of hair on it, and then the pads won't stick properly, so we need the razor to just quick shave to get the hair off, put the pad on. Okay. We've also got to look at other things that might happen. For example, if it's a lady that's pregnant and we've been advised it's pregnant, just tilt the body very slightly over onto their left hip, alright? Just put a coat or anything just to move them over slightly.
Has everyone signed in?
No.
If no one's signed in, would they just come over and speak with Helen in a minute?
I'll tell probably the easiest, if I do the 7 that have,
Yeah.
those that haven't, if you can perhaps just do this list, just your name will be fine. And can I just confirm, is it MKMJ? JM.
Those that's wondering, that's raining outside. Okay. Anyone remember what I said about one of these training devices? What's the most hardest thing with this?
Opening it.
It's opening it up, yeah. Okay, so I'll open it up. It will centralise itself.
Tear open package and remove pads.
So there's the pads.
Tear open package and remove.
As you can see, it tells you where to put the pads. Okay.
Seal one pad from plastic liner.
This is a training mannequin, it's not a real one.
One pad from plastic liner.
So I'll take one, it's got a picture on there.
Seal one pad from plastic liner. Place one pad on bare upper chest. Place one pad on bare upper chest. Place one pad on bare upper chest. Seal second pad and place on bare lower chest as shown. Seal second pad and place on bare lower chest as shown. Do not touch.
Do not touch, stand clear.
Analyzing rhythm. Do not touch patient. Analyzing rhythm.
Stand clear.
Shock advised. Charging. Stand clear. Push flashing button to hinder the shock.
My young assistant, you see that button there? What's the last thing you're going to do before you press it?
Hinder the shock.
I tell everyone to stand clear.
Right, I'll do that for you. Stand clear!
Push flashing button to dip shock delivered. It is now safe to touch the patient. Start CPR. Give 30 compressions. Then give 2 breaths.
How easy was that? Okay. Make sense to you?
Yep.
Talks you through it. Pictures on there for you? Yeah. And that'll just go through for 2 minutes, and then it'll say stand clear, it'll reanalyse, and then you do the same thing again, okay?
Hassan, did you sign?
Anything on that one for me?
Did that actually give a real shock? Just then?
No.
Oh.
No, this is a training one, so it won't deliver. It will not, a real one will not deliver shock, right, if there's a problem, right? If the person's got to be not breathing, right, no heart movement, right, it detects that the shock is necessary. That's the only time it's going to go. And that's why I said to you at the start, we don't do that hand.
Because
All right?
if I'm touching,
And what do we do to the loved one? Don't worry, my dear. Right, you'll be safe, don't worry. The paramedics know what they're doing. Please come back, I need you. I need someone to cook me dinner. Okay, let's give it a false impression.
What's it for me? Come on, DNR.
Sorry?
DNRs.
Right, DNR is do not resuscitate. So, where is the DNR? We need to see that DNR. That's the only time we can stop. You go to a home, residential home, a nursing home, it's in their file. Paramedics turn up, please check that. And then it's a form, it's been signed by the doctor. Fortunately, Helen, you just had to do one for an elderly relative, haven't you?
yeah.
Right. He wanted this, do not resuscitate. So the doctor had to come in. Stop.
Do not touch patient. Analyzing rhythm. Do not touch patient. Analyzing rhythm. Shock advised. Charging. Stand clear. Push flashing button to hinder the shock.
Stand clear.
Shock delivered. It is now safe to touch the patient. Start CPR. Give 30 compressions.
Okay, and that'll just keep going. So after the 2 minutes you swap over so that you can rest your arms, and then you're ready to go and help get the paramedic. Okay, going back to the question of DNR, do not resuscitate. It's a document, it must be produced for us not to do this, okay? So if it's someone at home that's not well, make sure it's readily available, be it for the paramedics, right, or the community first responder. Okay, it's a form. Doctors can deal with it for you. It's just asking a few questions. If the person's not fit enough to actually answer them themselves, if they've got someone that's got power of attorney, that person could step in and do the necessary paperwork with the doctor, who then signs it and it's put in the medical record. Okay, and then in which case we don't use this because that's their express wish. Okay, does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's something you need to think about. Okay. I don't know of many. I've seen a few, but as I say, it just happens that Helen unfortunately had a situation crop up with someone that she knows, an elderly relative, and we discussed it, and then the doctor went in.
How safe is this device from?
This device is really safe. This is only a training one, as I say, so it won't deliver any shock.
Yeah, I mean the actual one, yeah.
The real ones, the batteries last for about 5 years if they're not used. Okay, the pads will last for a couple of years if not used, so they're the more expensive bit to replace of the equipment. Kept in a warm, dry environment, okay, no problems at all. Once attached, it does the checks, and if it deems that a charge is necessary, it will deliver it. And if it says no, it won't deliver, alright? And that's why I'm saying the only way you can throw this system out is by making physical contact with someone that is okay. So if I'm laying there completely out needing this defib to work on me, and Helen comes and holds my hand, it's actually going to pick up her rate and say no, and it won't deliver. Doesn't matter what you do to it, you can sit there pressing that button all day, nothing's going to happen. Okay, gone are the old days of rubbing the two pads and putting it down.
Are they how widely available are they? So someone's collapsed in the street?
As we discussed with the defibs, we can find them in supermarkets, with stations. We said leisure centres, yeah. Someone said the gym, did they? Yeah. Gym's got them. Airports have got them. You get them on the planes now as well, actually.
Someone's collapsed in the street.
Collapsed in the street. You've dialed 999. They will tell you where to go. Someone collapsed here today. I am 90% sure. What time Sainsbury's shut? 4 o'clock today. I think one of you would be running now to Sainsbury's to collect a defib. Okay? Unless you've got one on site here that I don't know about.
What about at the home? Can you get one at the home?
You want to buy one for yourself? That's up to you. Yeah? You can have one at home, but they're different prices, so you need to sort out. It's a bit like buying a Mini or buying a Rolls Royce. What sort? They all do the same thing. They take it from A to B. Alright?
How much do they cost?
The last one I know come in at just under £1,000 fitted. Sounds a lot, but what's the cost of a life?
If you've got a community group here, then you could perhaps look to see if there's ways you could get funding, because some community groups will get funding on the basis that they can get a defib. It would be used for the group, but it would also be accessible for people in and around this particular area. So it might be something you want to look into, and that's really just look at perhaps council or British Heart Foundation or NHS grants, just do some research online.
Right, I don't know what the regulations would be on this building, but on the outside, when we were brought down, we come down an alley, but on the front, is it possible to have that yellow box or something put on there so that everyone in the community could use it 24/7? It's still going to be on a pin to access it, but if you put that, as soon as said, look, we want to help the community, you've got a better chance of getting one, because you're going 24/7. You're opening it up to the community. If you turn around and say it's going to be restricted for use, people using this building only, that sort of drops you down, and they might say, well, it's £1,000, we'll give you £200 grant. If you turn around and say you're going to put it out on there, they might turn around and say, well, actually, we'll give you £800. Right? They might even give you the £1,000 for a new one, or they might say, we'll match you 50-50. Yeah? You need to go to them and see what they're going to prepare to do. All right? It's different situations. All right, the last one I know that I had any dealings with was a bowling club, and they started off at 50, and then we actually went back and said, look, this is for a lot of elderly people, and they upped it straight away to 75%. So we actually got 75% of the cost paid for, right, as a donation, and it was very easy for the club to raise the 250 quid. Well, they done got a couple of quid off each member as they walked in one day, and that was it. sorted. Anyone got any questions?
Yeah. What about if someone has a stroke? How would you know if had a stroke?
Someone's a stroke. Helen, do you want to go with that one?
Oh, fast. You'd see that their face drops. Quite often it's one side of the face drops, so you can see something's not quite right. If you're looking at people straight on, you can tell that there's just something like that. Arm.
Right, put the arm out.
So,
if it drops straight like I did with someone done it on me on the recovery position, if you remember, hold the arm out. If it drops back, that's the arm.
You're looking at the speech then, R for response. So going back to doctors, ABC, RS for response. When you're talking to them, fast, FAS, speech. So listen to what David's saying. If you're saying
confused.
How are you, what day of the week it is.
It's Wednesday morning, 4 o'clock. Yeah, right.
And today's Sunday at 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
Again, there's something not quite right. So if you've got something wrong with the face, something wrong with the arm when you raise it, something wrong with the speech.
Time to treat.
And that's your T. So that's why we say fast. And they're the symptoms. There's nothing you can do to treat them, just keep them calm, but just get on the phone as soon as possible.
Sit them down, talk to them, and get someone to help, okay? Because that one you're really going to have to get someone to take the phone call outside and give the symptoms, okay? And then come back and then go with whatever advice given. But my advice to you is, if in doubt, 999, let them make the decision call and categorising it. Okay? At the back.
I wanted to ask this in the beginning, Ralph.
Yeah, go on.
What if you smell gas? What are you going to do?
Right, if we smell gas, we need to try and open the premises to try and eliminate it. It could be, if we're going into a garage, it could be the car. Okay? So let's get the ignition switched off. That's one way of stopping its source. If we're going into a kitchen, let's turn it off. Let's get the windows open. Okay, get some fresh air in there. Okay. If it's really powerful, get yourself a flannel, get a lot of water on it, over your face, go and grab the person, pull them out if necessary. Alright, if you can do it. Right, I'd avoid trying to pull them because you might do back injury. But you've got to weigh it up, how bad it is, the situation in there. If you can't fumigate it as such, get fresh air in there, right, the gas is going to be working against you, so you're going to have to get them out. If you do, be careful of the head at all times. Whenever you're moving anyone, I can't stress it enough, watch the head. Okay. You got any questions, young man?
No.
No? Because I'll go around now, do it, it'll be easier. No? Gentleman at the back there, he's sitting there, taking it all in.
He's a defib fitted in his
I
house.
do have a question actually. So if we are met with a situation where we have to give emergency life support, is it better to do something even though you're not that confident rather than nothing?
It's better to do something because it comes back to the what if story.
Yeah.
Alright? And whatever you do is going to give them a better chance. So even if it's only dialing 999 and getting the emergency services there, you've increased their chance of survival, right? If you've gone and got the defib, you've increased it even more. If you're doing the chest compressions, we're giving them near enough the best chance going. If we're really going for the professional standard, right, because you're confident enough to get the oxygen in, let's go for it, okay? Now with me, if it was me, I'd have the oxygen on the bottle, pump straight in, no problems. I've got the face mask at home, so I could use one of those quick enough.